4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? CTS Podcast. We're back after 2 weeks because Jace flaked last week.
Henry
I don't
just
know what
doesn't
happened.
show up for the podcast.
I don't know what happened.
I literally had to sneak in through the window and was just sitting here waiting for him, and he just stalled me out.
Yikes. Okay. So, lots to catch up on. Evolving situation in Afghanistan. By the way, our video last video on Afghanistan did get, kind of blocked.
Oh.
So, that's good. We like
what
that.
What did we say?
We didn't say anything. I think if you talk about that stuff at all, they don't like it. Like, it wouldn't play on restricted mode, and yeah. So, just something to keep in mind. But
criticizing the military-industrial complex gets you
it's an interesting conundrum, isn't it?
Okay, this week, yeah. So, the United States military committed a war crime. Yesterday?
I think it was a while ago that the strike happened. They admitted to it.
Yeah. So
yesterday.
They bombed the wrong vehicle. It killed 10 civilians.
7 of them were
7 children.
Yeah.
Just dead.
Yeah, because there was the attack on the airport that killed a bunch of Afghanistan citizens and military members, and so the U.S. pretty rightfully so was like, okay, we're gonna respond, but when they did respond, they got the wrong vehicle, and so launched a Hellfire missile directly into a vehicle carrying 10 civilians, which not great, not a great look for the
7
US
dead
military.
kids, and they said sorry.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird, I guess, I don't know what you do, but it was just a weird response.
You don't bomb civilians.
Well, yeah, but once you've done that, I don't know what your response should be, how you make up for it. But it seems like that's something you should do a little more legwork on before you just go launching.
You would think.
Deadly
You
missiles.
would think that the person overseeing that launch
Let's
gets
make
demoted
sure
in rank
we get visual confirmation of who. I just don't get it. How did you not? Because if you had a specific target, you should have looked for them.
Do you think that's akin to going into a house and just murdering the people living there? Just a U.S. soldier just walking into a house and just committing murder, 7 dead children and 3 dead adults. Do you think those are similar?
Yeah, I think they're similar. It's basically the same thing, right?
Yeah, dude.
Just
the person, the soldier, if that were to happen, would just be arrested. By the way.
Yeah.
But they don't get arrested. The people that did this.
Nope. They are. Well, that has to come from the top, right?
Yeah, the general apologized, or the commander apologized for it. He's the one who took full responsibility.
It's crazy. But it's not that's not exactly something new for the U.S. military. So, not great. Not great looks at all.
Situation. Not ideal. Just not ideal.
Outside of that, in Afghanistan, we've got the situation continuing to devolve as the Taliban take more and more control. What was it this week? I think they now women over 12 can't go to school. Was that what I think that's what I saw. I might be wrong, but
who cares if you slander the Taliban?
Yeah, that's true. I'm not going to feel bad for that. But I think that's what I saw. And so, yeah, definitely not getting better. I think there's still Americans in Afghanistan, I think, which isn't great under the current circumstances. Yeah, just not good things going on right now.
Yeah, kind of a foreign policy disaster.
Yeah, it's not. It's if you get what do we need? A financial crash, and Joe Biden's already run the gamut of about as bad as things can go in your presidency. Not that all of it was his fault. Some of it he inherited. But yeah, it hasn't been going great for Mr. Biden, President Biden.
Yeah, this has been a rough few months, to say the least.
Because he inherits like what's already going on with COVID, and then you kind of get it under control. You get the vaccine rollout. That's a win. And then Delta variant shows up, and COVID gets about as bad as it's been. Like, as far as hospitalizations go, as bad as it's been. The Afghanistan, that whole situation, not very good. Not a very good look. And with the Fed, at like 0% interest rates, it seems like a financial crash is probably coming.
Yeah, there's been some weird stuff going on with the Fed. I don't want to get into it because I don't have enough information on it, but they've been doing like some really weird stuff with crypto lately, and it has a lot of people worried.
Yeah.
But in other news, in debatably good news, the U.S. just entered a new military agreement, I guess, with Australia and the United Kingdom for nuclear submarine technology.
We can talk about the story, but that's something that's like weird that's a thing. Like, submarines feel so like, old like reels on like World War II, like Cold War stuff. It feels weird that submarines
it's
are
a
like
big deal,
still a thing
huge
that are used.
deal. Yeah, and these nuclear submarines, they're self-powered, right? I mean, they never have to rise.
So they can go for like months if all the systems are like
they can
going
go for months.
good.
They're way faster. They're way more technologically advanced. And the United States has agreed to share, essentially, it's secrets, the United States and the United Kingdom with Australia. In like a, sort of a punch in the face to China, right? It's like
but it's not.
Look at what we can do.
China that's mad about it.
China is mad about it, but
yes.
the primary apparent victim is how do you say French? What is French in French?
I wouldn't even try it, to be honest.
It's something like that. It's like, I don't think it's Les Bleus, is it?
That's the nickname for their soccer team because they wear blue jerseys.
Oh, okay. No, but yeah, Australia and France had an agreement, for essentially the same agreement between the two nations, to develop nuclear submarine technology, and Australia pulled out. And in response, France pulled its ambassadors out of the United States and the United Kingdom. Pulled their ambassadors, which is like a pretty big deal. The last time France did that was during the Civil War.
That's so
pulling
bizarre.
Ambassadors out is like kind of a, it's like a, I don't know.
It's like a big deal.
It is like a big deal.
It seems very much an overreaction, especially within a group that they're all supposed to be like. We're all supposed to be like some of each other's biggest allies. For France to throw
France's dialogue towards the United States as of late has been pretty, I don't want to say like harsh. Well, it has been harsh. Yeah, I mean, even going back to Donald Trump's presidency, France has like sound the warning bells on the United States foreign policy. And, this is kind of a punch in the face to the EU as well, right? The EU responded and said they were going to, bolster their own trade and military agreements within the EU.
That's probably a good thing, right? Like, that's what we were kind of asking for with NATO.
Yeah, it's like, but I think it's a cool deal. It sounds like it's gonna be a cool deal. Australia and the United Kingdom. I don't know. See, it's so weird because I don't know if it is like a slap in the face to the EU, because I kind of think it is. I think the United States has kind of taken action lately that like is sort of countering the EU, giving special trade deals to England and special trade deals to Australia and military agreements with England and Australia. But yeah, the French were pretty butthurt about it.
They like canceled. There was supposed to be some commemoration of some like naval victory, and France was like, "Nope, we're not doing that anymore."
They canceled it. Yeah,
Canceled
it's really
it,
just kind of petty.
Yeah, and I'm generally not like almost always a huge proponent of anything to kind of go against the Chinese government. So for when
Yeah.
a country's upset when something like that's happened, like I don't know, for France to be upset about it seems very weird to me.
Very weird. Yeah. Um, in other news, I just lost my train of thought. I had something really interesting to share.
What about not to cut you off, if you remember it, feel free to bring it up. But what about the like at the border in Texas?
Oh yeah, the
How
migrant
crazy
wave,
is that?
the biggest one since like the 1980s or something like that.
Have you seen the like pictures and video from down there? I mean, thousands and thousands of people just like under the one I saw that was crazy was just like under in the shade under a bridge, just people packed shoulder to shoulder under
Pretty
this
crazy.
bridge.
I think those people should be allowed in.
I don't. It's so bad. I don't know what you do because, like, it's a difficult thing to just go. Like, you can't exactly just get rid of all your like immigration laws, right? But at the same time, it is like a crisis. They're running out of food. They're running out of like. It's harder to get water. I don't know what you do because it feels harsh to just go, well, sorry, like later, see you guys. But also, I don't know that you can just pull open the gates and go, okay, hey guys, come on in.
Yeah, I don't really know what the answer to that is. It's pretty bad though. It's about as bad as it gets. It was bigger than the other big migrant wave under Trump. I can't remember where that one came from.
That one was crazy because it was like for months we like knew it
The
was coming
media
because it
built
was
it up so
well, yeah, because you saw
much.
like down in like the southern tip of Mexico, like this kind of caravan coming and making their way towards the southern border, and that one was nuts.
Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. I don't think we've talked about this on the podcast yet. Joe Biden mandating the vaccine for employees of businesses with over 100 employees. Did you hear about that?
I hadn't heard about it.
You haven't heard about this?
Besides you've brought it up, but
Oh
I
yeah,
hadn't
he
seen it anywhere
mandated
else.
vaccination for employees of businesses with over 100 employees, or it's like a crazy amount of testing, like just sort of
Like once a week or something.
more than once a week. I think it may be like once a day or once every other day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude. So kind of weird. I don't know, that I feel like that's a good way to turn off anti-vaxxers, is saying, okay, you don't have a choice now.
Especially to like go like I kind of get the government worker mandate,
Yeah, he has
and
every right to do it there.
but to go okay, like, and companies with over 100 employees, and I don't know that much, so correct me if I'm wrong. That seems weird because it seems like there's a lot, like, companies with over 100 employees can be like a lot of different things. There can be 100 employees that never interact with each other, that like, or you could have 100 employees that are all in the same like warehouse or factory or something.
Yeah,
So
there's like additional guidance on it with the exact specifications. I'm pretty much generalizing, but that is the rule, is over 100 employees. You know, there's stipulations to exactly how you can go around it. If you work from home, it's different, but yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Pretty
That's a
nuts.
weird one, and I haven't heard of much pushback on it.
Yeah, I mean, other than like anti-vaxxer circles.
Yeah, because aren't like a lot of companies are requiring vaccines already. Like I know I saw Disney just barely is requiring vaccines for all their employees, and some other, Disney was the big one I remember, but and like they were getting support of unions and that stuff for it. So, but yeah, it does seem weird to come out and go, okay, 100 employees, you have to get vaccines.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Another crazy thing Wells Fargo just got hit with like another, I think it was $130 million or $230 million fine for their home lending practices. So if you remember, I think wasn't that long ago.
2018, right?
2018, they got a $2.3 billion fine or something like that for opening savings accounts in people's names.
Which is insane. That a
and then charging people on a monthly basis for opening these accounts.
I mean, I don't understand. Like, that should be like, people should be getting arrested for that.
Yeah, they
right?
should.
Like, that's fraud on the highest level. That's like if I went up to your house and mowed your lawn and went without you knowing in the night, and then started like invoices just started showing up in your mail for $40 for like mowing your lawn, and you're like, what? I didn't. And just no repercussions. But like a fine. Wells Fargo doesn't care about a fine.
It reminds me of, did you ever see that Star Wars Clone Wars episode of like, it's like the banking clan? It's Padme goes to this world of the banking clan.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see that one?
I can't remember.
And
it's probably been so long.
It's run by like, there's these like 5 corrupt people, these like aliens running it. And it's like, I don't know, but it seemed very, very based on the United States, like banking stuff. Yeah. Like it was very similar. It was like this whole episode dedicated to how corrupt the banking system was.
Well, remember that Movie Pass?
Yeah.
They were doing stuff like that where they'd like change people's passwords so they couldn't get into their account to use it and stuff like that, and they got in huge trouble. Like way more than Wells Fargo got into, but MoviePass was like already going under because it was a failing business, so it didn't end up. But yeah, that just seems like you have to, like, people should be getting arrested for that.
But they don't. Look at 2008.
Yeah, no, not a single person arrested for what happened, that financial crash. And so Wells Fargo, this new judgment is because they haven't paid people back quickly enough, right? Because weren't they supposed to like pay people, like people that had been affected?
The only thing I read about was unsafe home lending practices.
Okay.
For this new judgment, which means they were lending to people who didn't qualify for the financing, probably with like FHA loans or something.
Yeah,
like that.
And I do think I saw something talking about that they also got in trouble for not like, because they got fined that $2.3 billion, and that was supposed to get spread out to people affected by it, and they still haven't made those payments yet, and it's been like 3 years, so they're getting in trouble for that.
Yeah, I don't enjoy it. I use Wells Fargo, and I don't enjoy the experience. Well, it's just bad.
Pretty shocking that they're just like, that is, it almost sounds made up, like that they started opening bank accounts in people's names and charging them
fraud.
For it.
I mean, it's actual fraud.
It's pretty ridiculous that they just kind of get away with that. And the company gets hit, but none of the executives that I'm sure signed off on those deals, they don't get hit. They don't get in trouble. They're not losing any money.
Did you see that video of the Newsmax anchor freaking out at that veteran? Oh, shoot. I'll have to show you sometime. But this Newsmax anchor was interviewing this veteran, and he was like, the Biden administration is responsible. This veteran's trying to help people. This guy who's in the army is trying to help people get out of Afghanistan, Americans to get out of Afghanistan. He says, this is like all Biden's fault. And the guy was like, very calmly, he was like, well, we've been following the situation closely, and this has been going on for multiple administrations, this inability to safely evacuate or inform Americans in Afghanistan. And the Newsmax anchor like flips out on air. And he's like, cut him off. You will not bash President Trump on my show, blah, blah, blah. And it was like a crazy video. He's like going off on this veteran, this Trumper.
That's so nuts that, like, you'd think if you're Newsmax, you're like, the worst thing we could do for our image is like bash a veteran.
I remember what I was going to say. So there's this new book out by these two journalists who interviewed General Milley, I think he's chief of the Joint Chiefs of Staff or something like that. I can't remember what the title is, but he's the head honcho of the military. And Milley claims that after the January 6th riots, he took steps to prevent Trump from launching a nuclear attack because he believed he was going to launch a nuclear attack on China. So he told a bunch of people that were responsible, who would have been involved in the chain of command for launching nuclear missiles. He said, "You have to go through me. You can't take a direct order from the president." And President Trump released the most wild statement. I'm gonna read it because it really is pretty crazy.
I haven't seen this yet.
You haven't heard about this story?
I've heard about the story. I haven't seen Trump's response to it, or what did he respond on? Because he's not on Twitter anymore.
Yeah, a newsletter on his website or something like that. So hold on. I think it would. I think it'd be nice to share this. I really hope I can find it. One moment. Here it is. Okay, and I quote: "If the story of dumb General Mark Milley," this is Trump, by the way, on his official website, "the same failed leader who engineered the worst withdrawal from a country, Afghanistan, in U.S. history, leaving behind many dead and wounded soldiers, many American citizens, and $85 billion worth of the newest and most sophisticated military equipment in the world, and our country's reputation is true, then I assume he would be tried for treason," in all caps. In that he would have been dealing with his Chinese counterpart behind the president's back and telling China that he would be giving them notification, quote unquote, of an attack. Can't do that. That's one sentence. What I just read is one sentence. It's just one.
That checks out.
It's a run-on sentence.
That's grammatically correct.
The good news is that the story is fake news concocted by a weak and ineffective general, together with two authors who I refuse to give an interview to because they write fiction, not fact. Action should be taken immediately against Milley, and better generals in our military, of which we have many, should get involved so that another Afghanistan disaster never happens again. Remember, I was the one who took out 100% of the ISIS caliphate. Milley said it couldn't be done.
That is like kind of deranged. I don't get how, because it's got to be like somewhere in between, like it can't, like both of them can't be like 100% lying.
I don't doubt that Milley said that. I don't doubt he may have legitimately thought.
Isn't that crazy?
That he thought that? Yeah.
That he thought that, and like that he did that. Like, is that?
I do think Trump has a point. It's like, you were not elected, sir. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Trump wants to do. You were not elected. You don't get to make those decisions, even if it's a decision as important as that. Like,
especially
it's not up to you. I certainly don't think it should be only up to Trump, but it's certainly not up to General Milley.
Yeah.
An unelected government official who's saying, "Do not do this without my express permission."
Yeah, I like, the buck stops here with me. You have to, I don't know. I don't love that. I also, I don't get, when I first saw this story, I was a little confused where the chain of like cause and effect, how we got from the January 6th riots to launching a nuclear missile at China. I wasn't 100%. I didn't 100% follow that, but
I don't think anyone did. I think that's just kind of weird.
It does seem like with Trump.
There's this riot on the Capitol that Trump didn't condemn. I think he's going to launch nukes on China now. It's like,
well, even if you try and come at it from like Trump's perspective, like in what situation would Trump go, this happened, now I'm going to launch a missile at China? That doesn't make sense to me, but yeah, very odd. It seems like with Trump, there were a lot of those people that worked in the administration coming out after they no longer worked in the administration and writing like shocking expose books that, I don't know, have any of them really stuck around?
No.
Which makes me
And most of the people
think-
writing these books are terrible people themselves.
Yeah, like when
John Bolton.
Yeah, when Bolton wrote that book, and I was like, "You're like a warmongering
criminal.
What are you trying to like morally
Or
stand
Michael
up on
Cohen
this perch?
or
Yeah.
Anthony Scaramucci.
Bizarre stuff. I don't really get it that much.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty weird, champ, but yeah, we'll see if oh shit, I just lost my train of thought. I was gonna say something about Biden. Oh yeah. Did you see that? Do you remember that video of Kamala where she's like, do not come, and she's talking about the migrants?
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll like keep their stance and just turn all of them away.
Well, they're putting people from Haiti back on planes and sending them back to Haiti.
Jeez.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's like all of the migrant. I'm assuming it's not, but yeah. So I know they're doing that, and I don't know what percentage of the people are from Haiti and how we got people from Haiti, like how the people from Haiti got there. But yeah, I think that was pretty new, like today or yesterday.
Last thing I'll mention, there's some big politics streamers and political pundits that have been, there's this question posed after the 9/11 anniversary or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the question was, did America deserve 9/11? Initial thoughts? That's the question. I'll tell you what these people think after you respond.
I think that's like a ridiculous question.
Yeah,
to
but do you
pose.
think so or no?
No.
Okay, I don't either.
What
That's
on
good.
earth?
But these political pundits and streamers unironically said that America deserved 9/11.
It has
Unapologetically say that America deserved 9/11.
It has to be like shock value, right? Like
You would think, but then they say, this doesn't compare to the atrocities carried out in the Middle East. And it's like, it also doesn't compare to the Holocaust, but it doesn't mean it's right,
I don't get. It just doesn't, to be that, at that point, that borders on ridiculous. Like if I was watching somebody, like a political streamer or whatever pundit, and even if I agreed with like everything they had said up to that point, they would lose 100% of credibility with me if they said that. I don't get how people can still like follow them and be like, yeah, this person's like.
Well, what's crazy is it's like, did America deserve 9/11? Yes. Okay, let's get more specific. Do the people that died by the Twin Towers crashing, did they deserve it? Did they deserve 9/11? Like,
Yeah,
your answer
like,
is no. Your answer is always going to be no. Those people didn't deserve to be killed by terrorists. But you're saying America deserved it, which is like, you can't argue for one and not argue for the other. If you're going to say America deserved 9/11, those were Americans, so say they deserved it. Say they deserved to die in the Twin Towers crashing if you're going to say America deserved 9/11.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. It's pretty frustrating that people that say stuff like that have
Platforms.
huge platforms. I mean, giant, like some of those, like,
Yeah, the person I'm referencing, if anyone watching cares, is Hassan, and he gets like 50,000 views every stream. He's like a consistent 50 to
like
60,000.
huge platforms saying just ridiculous stuff like that. I hopefully we get a platform that big and get to.
Can you imagine?
We would ridiculous things.
We would
probably
say
that
some
we don't even
ridiculous
think about.
things that,
but not that bad.
That's up there with like pretty grotesque.
That's
and
about
disgusting.
as bad as, like, that's pretty close to as bad as you can get there.
Pretty close.
And to
that's like
still
saying.
be-
That's like saying.
I mean, it just.
I'm not going to compare
yeah,
it to
we're
anything
just
else,
not
but
gonna
that's
get
like
clipped,
saying
but
something is like something, and it's not. It's just not.
not good stuff. Yep. 'Kay.
Okay.
Let's call this one.
CTSPC EP48.